Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Irish Column for Sunday, the 1st of September, 2024. I'm Paul Fitzsimons. I'm joined by Anthony Casey. How are you, Anthony?
How are you doing? How's it going, everyone? Hope everyone is well today, as good as can be.
Well,
given the state of the country, I mean,
the state of everything. Like, let's be honest. You know what I mean? At least if anyone's gone to Coldplay tonight, I'd say they're having fun with all their lights and their boom boom shite and they were doing. Have you seen it? It was.
I haven't seen it, but I can't actually. You know, it's funny. You know, Oasis and Coldplay and all these things come up, and everyone jumping on their stories on Facebook and all. It's like, you know what? It's like it'd be like sardines in a tin queuing up. I don't even know if they all like even Coldplay and Oasis. They just have to be there, kind of thing, isn't it? You have to be there these days.
Yeah.
But
my kids are talking about Oasis the last 3 days.
Oh, are they? Yeah, your kids.
You know. I said, what? I said, Oasis. I said, they were shy first time round. I said, they're hardly going to be any bleeding better this time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're going to bring Martin up there. Hello there, Martin. How are you?
Hey, gents.
How are you, Martin?
Did I come into a conversation with you shitting on Oasis?
Not really Oasis now, but you know, just
in general, you know, just
the movement of people.
Yeah. Music died in 1989.
The likes of Taylor Swift, how much it costs for tickets, you know, 300 quid for tickets, and then you have guys from outside the country sitting here on laptops all day yesterday, you know what I mean, trying to get tickets and then getting them, and then they'd sell them for colossal money, you know what I mean? Like, that shouldn't be allowed. You should have to queue for the bleeding things, or they should give so many out, you know, to the play, not Ticketmaster, but remember when you used to have to queue at golden discs and all years ago? It was deadly.
Yeah. No,
out for a week.
Ticketmaster is operating a global cartel at present.
Yeah.
So what Ticketmaster does is they release, so let's just say there's 100,000 tickets. They release 30,000 tickets to general sale. They let those sell out, and then they sell the other 70,000 to their partners, as they call them, who are actually subsidiaries of Ticketmaster. So they're basically selling the tickets to themselves, and then they can hack on another 40 or 50 quid for them. And crazy, no government has ever tackled it. No government has ever tackled it. And it is, you know, it's racketeering.
Yeah, and the second thing as well, there's towns, there's hotels for the night for Oasis, 1,700 quid in Dublin, like, and all, you know, for a bog standard double bed, you know, it's.
I've heard people have had bookings cancelled already. The people had dates booked in that time, and the hotels cancel them because they know they can resell the room. And again, they're perfectly entitled to do it. There's no law against any kind of racketeering or price gazumping in Ireland.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Like the studio there,
shame.
I'd say. Like the studio.
Yeah, thanks for that. I just painted the walls last night. I just said, I had a few hours on my hands, you know.
Yeah, looks good. You need to get something on the TV and behind you.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
With banners flying across. Yeah.
I just painted mine there while we were talking.
I have to say, your neck of the woods looks a bit ropey, to be honest with you, Martin.
It's
fancy going for a few shots out there.
If you ask AI how Ireland feels now, that's what you get. Yep, that's what it generated. Yeah.
Wow, really?
Crazy.
Yep.
Come on, lads, we're smashing this there. Keep sharing it out there everywhere. We're in competition now tonight with Justin Barrett and Off Grid, I think it is. Like, you know what I mean? So, you know, Herman has a space on there as well. So I'd say he'll come on later or somebody.
Yeah, I was on Herman's there a few minutes ago. Yeah.
I was on it for a few minutes. I had to get off and do a bit of work on this. That's why I jumped off. I was only on it for a few minutes. Doppelgangers. Who are doppelgangers? I don't know what that's all about. Hi, everyone. Yeah. But I wanted to just share. I'm going to just share this here now and get your thoughts on this. The SPHE curriculum. Have you seen it?
Yep.
Have you seen this thing that's going around the book? Yeah.
Yep.
I'll just for people who for people who can't see it there, I'll just read it, right? This is this is from the SPHE curriculum, right? This is about our family, okay? Your teacher will read aloud the following descriptions of 2 different families while you are listening. Close your eyes and imagine what it would be like to live in this family. When you have heard the description of family A, pause and answer the questions before listening to family B. Now, family A, this is the Irish family. We do not like change or difference. All of our family members are Irish. We do not have a single relation living abroad or anyone from any other country in our family. We have a family business, and it is expected that we will join it when we finish school. Noreen would like to be a yoga instructor, but my dad said, no, that's not a proper job. She must stick to what she knows. We eat Irish food. We have potatoes, bacon, cabbage every day because it is Irish and it is our tradition. Our holidays are spent touring Ireland. We all play Irish musical instruments and go to the Fleadh every summer. Sean wanted to learn drums and steel guitar, but Mum said no because there are lots of great Irish instruments. We love sport, but we must play only hurling, handball, and Gaelic football. No foreign games are permitted. It is okay for us to watch television programs that are made in Ireland, like Ireland's Fittest Family and The Late Late Show, but our parents complain that RTE is showing more and more imported trash every day. The only movies we get to see are Irish ones, none of that Hollywood rubbish, and we get told off if we mix with people from a different religion as from ours, as it would be a bad influence on us. Now, come on, like, come on. This is what they're teaching kids. This is a typical Irish family, like, you know.
This is the new old school family art that they're pushing now. Is these ideas are outdated. That's this is the way Stone Age people think.
Exactly. That's the way they're looking at it. You know.
My son,
now,
obviously, all kids have just gone back to school, and my son is in an Educate Together, which I've spoken about before, which my other kids won't be following suit in. But he said their new boxes came into the classroom the other day, LGBTQ plus curriculum written on them, and he said, "I'm just waiting for him to open that up." He said, "Fuck's sake, you know." But it's a new wave of teaching, the new school curriculum, they have their way in, crazy stuff.
But I'm gonna just share this one, right? This is family B, right? And it's funnier. I swear, it gets funnier. Okay, I'm just gonna make this bigger here. Right, this is family B. We love change and difference. We find our cultures new and exciting. Our favorite dinners are curry, pizza, and Asian food. So are mine. During school holidays, we go camping in Europe and visit the galleries to see the wonderful paintings there. We like different types of music, from reggae to hip hop to classical. We have relations in London, Australia, and our family is part Irish, part Romanian, part Dutch. We are a sports mad house, playing hurling, soccer, and rugby. Mom is a mad Liverpool fan, and we sometimes go to Anfield to support them. Our parents are really interested in education, but have told us that that college does not suit everyone, and that it is important to follow a career doing something that we love. My eldest brother, Flor, is partially sighted and travelled to Baltimore in the US for specialist treatment. This was paid for by funding in our community by the Irish American group in Maryland. He is now a volunteer with the Red Cross in Syria. My sister Kim went on a student exchange to France last year and loved it so much she stayed for an extra few months working as a ski instructor. Most years we house swap with families in a different country. It is a great way to meet people and learn about other cultures and societies. It makes you realize that when you get to know them, people are more alike than different.
So let's call this exactly what this is.
Yes.
This is state-sponsored propaganda. This is what Goebbels used in Germany to educate people to think a certain way. That's what this is. That's what this is. They've essentially just said, if you're Irish, you're bad, and everything else is good. That's essentially what those 2 pages say. Irish bad, everything else good.
Yeah,
it's an absolute disgrace. And look, I have very, very strong views on education. I'm a firm believer in, basically, if you can finish national school with the ability to read, write, and do basic mathematics, you can pretty much do anything you want with your life. That's what you need. You can read, write, and do basic mathematics. You can accomplish anything. I think our secondary school system needs to be completely dismantled. It needs to be torn apart. It needs to go again. Obviously, you have your fundamentals, your English, your Irish, your maths, and everything else. Then should be teaching people life skills, teaching people like the voting system, like how to run a household budget, how to do something with your hands, how to build something, how to
nutrition.
Exactly, nutrition. Yeah. But there's serious problems. That stuff just.
You're right. You're right, Martin, saying about Nazi Germany, and it's true. When we looked at our secondary level school books, we heard about propaganda being first brought in by Hitler and by the Nazisms. And I think his direct quote was, "If you let me control the textbooks, I will control the state." And that's exactly what we're seeing now.
Propaganda goes way back before Nazi Germany. Propaganda has always existed. The Romans had propaganda. You just couldn't spread it en masse. You didn't have radio and print media.
But even in textbooks to this regard, and controlling the textbooks. Directly.
Well, you look. We see it with the current crop of what I class as your far left communists. They're all direct results of a captured third level education system. I've very good examples of this in my life of people I know have spent vast amounts of time in. Now they're very well educated, and they've got doctorates and PhDs, etc. They're very well educated people, but they're communists. There's no other way to describe them. They are they have communist mindset. One actually openly calls themselves a communist, but that's what our third level creates. So, but they've taken it a step back now, and they're actually going after the children in secondary education. And if you read some of the UN documents, they're going to go after them in primary level as well, just to create these weak-minded, left-leaning communist ideology. Sheep is what they're creating. So I'd be encouraging people, if your kids are old enough and there's alternate education, and there is alternate education out there, get your kids out of our current second level, and try and get them into doing apprenticeships, trying to get them doing something with their hands. And like I said, there is homeschooling options, and there are other online options that you can do too. But second level education doesn't look like a safe place at the minute. I was actually on Herman Spaces, and they were talking about the current social contagion of the trans ideology, which seems to have captured quite a few schools. And the example was given that in one school in Galway, there was 12 boys who were now wearing dresses, and I think it was 6 girls, they said, that were now pretending to be boys. And that's a social contagion, and that's as dangerous as any real disease or anything you want. Ideas can be parasitic as well. So like I said, I think parents need to keep a really, really close eye on what their kids are learning in school, and ask your kids when they come home from school, what did you learn today? What did you talk about today? And get involved, because a lot of this stuff is going under the radar. Your kids are being brainwashed by a governmental system, and the education system is a governmental system, are being brainwashed into. And it'll get to the point where we're in 1984, where kids are turning on their parents, turning them into the authorities for wrong think. So I don't know, if you're a parent and you're listening, ask your kids what they learned today. Ask them, what did your teacher talk about, and you might get a shock.
And some people, we talked about this at the Ardèche, and I think this is something that we really want to try and change. We talk about it in a serious way. I know it's a big thing to do, and there's a lot of people behind pushing it, but talking about glorifying the trades, like some tradesmen make way more than people who spend 5-6 years doing any degree. Like one of the highest paid occupations in Ireland is an electrician. Like these guys are a lot of times they can finish school early. It was always glorified to us to go to college and do this, that, and the other, or you might fall back on a trade. But trades need to be glorified. But not only that, and Martin touched on it, this whole revamping of education, on realistic education, how to think rather than what to think, and two views on, like my son, I hate bringing it up, but it's because he's in primary school and they've started so early with this kind of thing. It's all climate alarmism, I think that's everywhere, but that's all
Everywhere.
you're allowed to see. You're not allowed to see at the debate that's going on, and there is big debates that go on about this among top level scientists, and it's all just pushing the LGBT. Like, a lot of parents are captured by the social media trends of all these things, and they're virtue signaling. I'll send my child in with nail varnish on. You don't know what that does to a child, bullying wise, his mental health. Like, you might think you're half pushing him out the door, but you have to think, that's going to follow him for a long time. Or like, there's kids in that Educate Together who are now posing as another gender. It's like, these are primary school kids. They still believe that Santa's coming down the chimney every December. We need to remember this. They haven't hit puberty yet.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
But all the schools are taken over by it. Now, there's one beside us now with the rainbow flag. Every time I go by, I just look. I just like, why? And it's one of the Feroga, is it? I think that's the crowd that's sponsor all this shite. Like, you know what I mean?
Is it? Yeah.
But,
yeah. Right.
But it's crazy. But this brings me on to my next thing here now. Okay, this is the thing I want to show you. Is that this came from the ASTI. Can you see it there? I'll just make it a bit bigger. This was from the ASTI to each school steward. Social, personal and health education, SPHE, relationship and sexuality, RSE. Dear school steward, at its meeting on the 21st, 22nd of August, Standing Committee asked that I write to school stewards regarding matters of concern relating to the teaching of social, personal and health, SPHE and RSE, and set out some key principles and advice. In the first instance, ASTI believes that no teacher should be assigned to teach this program unless they wish and feel confident to teach it. In no circumstances should a teacher be assigned to teach the program without full and comprehensive training. It is a matter of concern to ASTI that the substantial reduction in SPHE RSE class size is not being implemented to support the program. ASTI acknowledges that the program specification includes sensitive issues. In that context, teachers should only teach material they feel they are comfortable and competent to teach. It may be a case that in some instances, additional expertise and support may be required to address sensitive issues contained in the program specification. This is a matter that should be notified and discussed with the school management. Circular Letter 42, whatever, outlines best practice guidance for schools in which use of programs and/or external facilitators. ASTI is mindful of concerns that resources used should present material in line with the program specification as intended and designed. ASTI strongly advises teachers to use the resources available on the SPHE online resource portal. So that's what was sent out to them last week, or when was it? The 21st of August. That's when the meeting was, and that's what was sent out. So obviously there's teachers out there that aren't happy with this.
Yeah. It's associated with secondary school teachers. Yeah.
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 But obviously they're not happy.
I met someone I was canvassing. Yeah, I met two teachers when I was canvassing that spoke to me in depth about this, and they were very uncomfortable with the curriculum. But they basically said that if I speak out about it, I lose my job. I couldn't argue with them because they will. That's a fact.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're dead right. And I've met them too. I remember last year I was in Lochderg, and Andy Heisman was doing his Voyager tour around, for the Irish people.
Another one now, yeah.
And I bumped into him when we were chatting away to him, and there was a couple of teachers following him around. They're handing out these leaflets of the new system, the new curriculum that they're rolling out for the school systems, and make people aware of it. And she said, I got a text today that we know you're there with them and you don't bother coming in, basically, on Monday morning. And she was conflicted. You could see by her. And you've had this conflict over these kind of things. And this is all the last 5 years, as far as I can see. Everything got shook up in the last 5 years. But yeah, it's very sad that I spoke with this as well at the Ardèche about your occupations having such. Now I know that's direct link there, but such control over your tongue, I suppose you could say it, 24/7. It actually blocks people from entering any kind of democracy, even to run the local elections. Sure, no one could do that if everyone signs on board with that. Sure, how do you get any councillors then? You can just re-elect who's already there.
But, exactly.
Yeah.
But I wanted to go, speaking of councillors, we move away from the SPHE there, and we go with councillors. You see, obviously, you've seen the picture. I'm not going to show the picture of the nude cyclists in Cork last weekend, yeah?
Yeah.
We all seen it. Like, it was horrendous. It's like, I don't know what sort of men they were, like, you know what I mean? They must have got it cut off and tucked in or something, you know what I mean? Because, fuck me. Or it must have been freezing, like, you know what I mean? Come on, it wasn't that cold last Saturday or Sunday. But there was a councillor spoke out against it, right? In Councillor Ken O'Flynn in Cork, right? I'm waiting to hear what he has to say. He sorts out, I think it's Neil Pendeville. But Pendeville tries to say, are we snowflakes or are we just overreacting? Waiting to hear what he has to say.
Ken O'Flynn, Councillor Ken O'Flynn, has sent a letter to the Lord Mayor calling on him to resign. But are we being the snowflakes here?
Well, who's being the snowflake? Sorry, I'm familiar with the term.
Are we being too easily offended in what is essentially a charitable endeavour?
No, can I say one thing to you? I think people in the last number of years, in particular in Cork, in particular in Ireland, have woken up where they've said, you know, I'm sick of not being able to give my opinion. I'm sick to death of having to shut up because I might offend somebody. I'm sick to death of being told, if you say that, you're a bigot, you're a racist, you're this, you're that, you're the other. People are sick to death of it. And people want to have their opinions and their thoughts heard. And they want to let these people know that there is a majority of people out there, whether it be silent or not, that has integrity, that believes in decency, that believes in honour, that believes in proper behaviour. And are not interested in this type of publicity or these type of gaffes. And they're decent, honourable people out there that are offended by this. And a lot of them in the past have been afraid to give their opinions because somebody will jump down their throat and call them this, that and the other. But I think that tide is changing in Ireland, and people are standing up and they're saying, this is what I believe and this is what I think, and I'm not apologising for that.
Fair play to him. Fair play to him.
Oh, well, yeah.
You know, we could actually, we could put this one to the test. We'll get all the Irish Freedom Party members to walk down fucking Grafton Street or something naked and see how long. We say we're doing it for charity and just see how long before the riot squad come out to beat the living shit out of us.
Yeah.
We would be like this.
It's not a bad idea.
Hang on, no, this is the double standard. You would every single one of us, if we did that, would go to prison. We'd go to prison. We'd be done for
decent exposure.
They'd probably pick up a school and move it and rebuild it closer just to make sure we can go on the sex offenders register as well. Like, you know what I mean? But the double standard out there is absolutely. I mean, look, I don't care what anyone thinks. That was disgusting. It was just disgusting. I don't. You can raise charity in numerous ways. You do not need to get your fat, flabby, potentially cooking bodies out. I'm sorry, it's disgraceful. Do it your place.
Why are they normalising this, lads? In your eyes, like, you know, why? Like, humans. This is, we see this.
Weak humans. If you introduce debauchery to society, this is in history. You can see the Roman Empire is the prime example of it. They collapsed under the weight of their own kind of debauchery. They got lazy. They got fat. They subcontracted out their army to, we'd say, foreign nations. And that was the demise of Rome. And there's a little bit more to it than that. But essentially, we're witnessing the collapse of society, and it happens in little stages. And moral decency is one of the things that has to go. If you get rid of moral decency, you see, it's all tied in. The fact that we're now forced to accept higher crime statistics and more rapes and more murders and more kids being abducted and stuff like that. It's a case of, that's just the norm now. And also it's just the norm for people to be running around naked and mad people in the streets with machetes. And it's the collapse of moral society. So morality is extremely important in society. It's the fact that society works because the majority of us are good people. And we have a strong sense of morals of what's right and wrong. And look, you know, the scale and the needle moves left and right at different stages of your life. But without that strong moral center, your society cannot function. It cannot function.
And what's scary is you're talking about the Roman Empire. That, at least, like, that's localized, where we're seeing this across the Western world now.
But you look at this as well. This is exactly the same thing as happened in Germany.
Yeah.
When you look back through the history, like, you know what I mean? Like Germany was a cesspit. Like, you know what I mean? I know people say Hitler was this, that, and the other. Well, he did clean it up an awful lot. Let's be honest about it. Like, it was a kip. You know what I mean? And
I'm
they
not
talk about
really
the
fond of
railroads
it.
as well,
I
going.
don't want to get into fake Nazi economics with you, but it was cleaned up on a lie. You know, it was. There's actually a lot of similarities to our current government and how the Nazis actually came to power. Because our government under Simon Harris and Leo Varadkar before him, they're using an awful lot of the same tactics that the Nazi Party used to actually take the Reichstag. They built an economy on lies, essentially, and our economy is built on lies. And I think people need to really start realizing this, because there is a massive economic crash coming. It's literally around the corner. As soon as Germany goes, that's it. The rest of the Eurozone is finished.
And on that point as well, I was having the conversation with this today. Like, and the reason I think it is, and you can see a lot of similarities. People keep bringing up World War I, World War II, and what happened, and we're seeing this now again. I think it's a very different war, but the fundamentals, the strategies are obviously carried on. And the reason why I think it's so similar is because when you go back further than Simon Harris and you go to the EU and you go to the WEF, Klaus Schwab's son of a Nazi, like his father was a Nazi in Germany, and he ran the gun warehouse where they manufactured all the guns under. He was really high up in it. This is one of the guys who has signed on this agenda, you know. So this is probably why it's looking so similar to that strategy, because maybe it's coming directly from a bloodline descendant of it, you know. He wrote the rule book literally for this. So yeah, I think that's probably why it does look like it. And I know a lot of the lads, we were talking about Gavin Space earlier on. I usually don't comment when they start talking about Nazi Germany. You know, the chat we're on as well, Paul. And I don't, like, that was a bloodbath of it. Like, I walked through Auschwitz, and it's absolutely one of the most horrific things I've ever seen, you know. And I couldn't condone anyone who stood up there and called for the murder of people on such a mass scale, no matter what people think. Oh, he was cleaning up this thing. And I'm kind of like, well, you know, he was also a germaphobe. This is really highly studied. And he saw everybody else bar him and his race as dirt, like bacteria. He was also not very fond of Christianity. His mother was a big Christian, and he hated that. He's the only person he trusted was his mother, and it's the only thing he hated about her, and he wanted to eradicate that, and we can kind of see what's happening there. But yeah, just on them points, I think it's directly linked to a bit of Nazism, because there's still a bit of that coming down from the elites, as you'd say.
One coming in
Well,
there.
you could argue on that topic that Germany, the Fourth Reich, actually came about because Germany changed tact. You have to remember how, like, a lot of people watch their World War II movies and the Americans and the Russians win, and then the credits roll, and people don't actually realize what happened after that. Like, that country was decimated. That country was, and the people that survived, they had an absolutely horrific 10 years. The German people that were left in the country after Germany surrendered, they bore the brunt of what the Nazis did. They bore the brunt of the punishment, and they were probably just mainly country people, you know, people not living in the cities or the suburban areas, or people not involved in politics, or possibly people not involved in the war, but they bore a terrible brunt. But from 1950 on, what Germany did to turn itself into the powerhouse of Europe financially, you also have to wonder how that came about. How did a country recover after two world wars, massive sanctions from the 1920s to the rise of Nazism in the 30s, and then we said the complete annihilation of the country, and the country being split in two? And how did West Germany build itself back? Well, if you look at the economics, they did it through industry. They built. There was steel plants. It was manufacturing. It was obviously there was money. Yeah, there was obviously money pumped in there as well from the American side. But it was, it's something I think about from time to time. How did they become the powerhouse? Because they shouldn't be. They should actually be one of the poorest countries in Europe, given their history. But our whole economy is built around the German economic policy. French obviously have a big input as well. A little bit of Spain, a little bit of Italy, but it's mainly Germany's economy that keeps the Eurozone afloat. So I don't know, if there's an economist out there that wants to come on sometime and have a chat about it, Germany 1952, we'll say the mid-90s, I'd be very interested to learn.
It is interesting points, because you can't see that directly. That word fascism and fascist is thrown around so much these days to the far right, which is actually what your typical left parties are acting like. I think people don't even recognize what the word means anymore. It's a buzzword now. And yeah, I guess it is in that regard good to look back and see if it is being modeled off that kind of thing. You kind of see which way they're going with it. Look, we know which way they're going with it, but we're just hoping that the glimmer of hope is still there, that we can get a few good people into Ireland in the least to steer the boat somewhat away from the rocks.
Exactly, yeah.
That's you,
we
Paul.
have. That's
sword
me,
in
yeah.
hand
I have
on the stern.
The what?
Sword in hand on the stern.
That's it, yeah. I'm the man. But did I tell you I'm running the Dublin Bay North? I'll put the pictures now in a while. I was all now in a few minutes. I'll pull them down.
Fair play, yeah.
Luke sent them. One of them sent them to me, so I'll send them on and I'll pull them up. But yeah, what will we go with here now? I don't know whether you saw the paper went with 2 men hospitalized. I'll just share this now with you. It's just for the effect, There we are. 2 men hospitalized this weekend following a violent disturbance on Dublin's Ormond Quay. Did anyone see this? Gardaí were alerted to an incident at a property on the North Dublin Quay shortly before 1 p.m. yesterday. 2 men were taken from the scene to the Manor Hospital to be treated with injuries. Investigations into all the circumstances of the incident are ongoing at Store Street Garda Station. Okay, I'll give you a background of what happened. Okay, it seems that there was 50 migrants living in this property. They were squatting, and the guy who owned it wanted them gone. He wants to sell it. They wouldn't leave, so they all tooled up, the whole lot. So 20 guys went in and took the 50 of them out. That's basically what happened. But I'll just show you the Friday night video. These are the boys they're going into take it back over. Look at these throwing the stick up.
Yeah, this is get the fuck out of here. Right now, yeah. Что здесь происходит? Ёбаный в рот, как-то, блядь.
At this point, we all thought the lads broken in their hooligan.
I'm so fucking happy. Good night, yeah?
We were just walking past there, and we were like, oh, what the fuck is going on there?
Besters. Broken fucking next fucking window, broken. Что за хуйня происходит, алло? Стульчик, блядь, вылечили.
Я пердола.
Now, from all reports that I've been hearing, there was buses and everything broke up You're not hearing anything on the news. You know what I mean? That's all that. This is all that they went with. 2 men were hospitalized this weekend. You know what I mean? So now that was Friday night, okay, and then the Saturday night. Waiting to see Saturday night. This was yesterday. The Gardaí training showed up after ages and coffers still caught with the hooligans. They arrested the boys who were there. Having the flag, not right. One there was actually great left. Style as a cruiser, great cruiser, was clean for left, cruiser blue, blue stick with that. No, that's crazy.
Is that Ormond Key, is it?
Ormond Key, yeah. Yeah.
Because there's another video going around with the boys, the Irish lads pulling them out of there. Do you see that?
See, I might have it there. Hang on.
So they're essentially
sure if that was
are they private security or are they bailiffs?
I'd say they were just mates of your mans. You know what I mean? A few of his big mates.
Like it,
you know what I mean? That's what it looked like. It didn't look to be.
Yeah. So
it's the first time
I know I'd seen all the videos, but I couldn't identify any badges or anything on them. So like if somebody's squatting in your private property, right, you actually have to get a fucking court order. This is ridiculous. Like you have to get a court order to actually get them removed. And if I think you can get bailiffs to do it or private security, but normally the guards come along and serve the notice that you have to leave, or if they refuse to leave, the guards drag them out. But you do normally need, if somebody's in your property. Now, there's another law that says you have a right to defend your property and yourself. So you could actually say that, yeah, technically they're in my property and they're damaging it, so I'm defending it and I'm getting my friends to do it. You could argue that in court. But it's like the property ownership and squatters' rights, it's messy. It's messy. And you know what? It doesn't favor the property owner, which in the reality is you should. If you own a property and it belongs to you and you're happy to leave it sit empty, that's your property. You can do whatever the hell you want to it. You know what I mean? If somebody comes into your property, they're trespassing. You have a right to remove it.
Well, that's what I'd say probably happened here. Your man probably thought, listen, if I go to court here with this, I'll be waiting fucking years before these get moved out of here and this, that, and the other. And you know the ironic part of this? He probably wanted to sell it to the government for fucking refugees. You know, you don't know. You know what I mean? But like, at least he'd be getting paid if he was doing that. You know, that sort of way. But these, you know yourself the way these squatters things go on for years. But and I'm sure he just thought, listen, we'll get in, we'll drag them out. I wouldn't say they were expecting to have 50 of them in there now, to be honest with you. But they got them out. They done what they were supposed to do. And I'm just going to show this other video now of this morning. This is Antifa and the crew standing guard outside there this morning. I'm not going to play too much of them because it's just them. But there's about 8 of them.
Lads, a strong gust of wind and blow them out of the way.
Ridiculous, ridiculous. I have to say, it really is. You know.
Yeah.
Sake, well, it's
every few days there's something scary, funny, and hilarious and sad. You know, it's all those things mashed together. You don't know whether to laugh at it or, you know, well, really, it's like absolutely disgraceful what's happened in Ireland, but it's just bizarre as well. You know, we're never going to have a shortage of things to talk about here, Paul. You know, every Sunday.
No, but it's every week, isn't it? While you're here as well, Martin, it's down your neck of the woods. Is it Clonmel? I just want to show this.
I don't know if I can watch this again.
No, it's just a video of the actual camp. How big it's got.
It's not the Simon Harris one I sent it on to.
No. I have a Simon Harris one. Jesus, lads, the comments are coming in like fucking. I forgot to do them. Sorry,
I showed a few of them there.
Oh, that's all right. That's grand. Right, so what did I say?
Yeah. So
Clonmel. Okay, this is how big this has got. You know what I mean? And just watch this. Oh my God. Like, look at the bleeding size of that place now.
You see the tree that is now inside the barrier, that's inside the perimeter. That's as far back as that was when it started. And they've just been extending it and extending and extending. And they've gone up towards the Travellers' Halt site as well. They've moved the fence up. And there is nothing for about 5 miles behind that and down to the Clonmel bypass road. There's nothing but fields. There's no way of that ever stopping. That's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And God, like
any word, Martin? Any word on how many they're proposing that'll go in there?
I think the original it started with 80 modular homes.
Right.
That's what they said originally. Now you can have a look at the size of that. Tell me how many.
10 acres each.
How many modular homes you're gonna get in there? There was talks before the local elections of towns having picking 10 towns to be essentially processing centres for iPass. That rather than them all going to City West or all going to Dublin, they'd be sent to different locations for processing. So I still think Clonmel has been chosen as one of those towns. I think there's going to be a huge bypass centre, processing centre put into Clonmel, and that they'll arrive in Dublin or Cork or wherever, and they'll be sent to these locations. And I think Clonmel has been. I think they're picking out towns. So Clonmel is already pretty dilapidated, and this is no offence to anybody in Clonmel.
Yeah, I know where you're going with this. Yeah.
Yeah, Clonmel has problems and issues, and it hasn't had any regeneration money or some big investment in a long time. The town centre is pretty dead. There's a lot of empty. There's an awful lot of empty retail space, especially in and around where the old Supercoin used to be. There's actually lovely. There's a lovely place you could develop a fantastic kind of a town area, social area with nice shops and cafes and things like that. But it's just derelict, and Clonmel has a massive drugs problem as well. It's very, very bad at the minute, and now there's a massive immigration problem on top of that. So there's a lot of new to the parish already in Clonmel that have been put into Hearns Hotel and other locations around the town. And then there's always the looming risk. So a town like Clonmel has 2 main employers, and they're 2 giant multinationals, Boston Scientific and Abbott. if they were ever to pull out of the town, and remember, if the EU get their way with our corporate tax, they will pull out of the town. That town is dead. That town is that.
Is Showering's not still there?
Sorry, Bulmers. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's not a big workforce as it used to be.
Is it not?
It's still there. Yeah, but it's not in the scope of the medical devices and stuff like that. Now there are some other factories and things like that, but they don't hire the numbers that Boston.
Pharma is a big business.
But if those pharma industries ever pull out of Ireland, and people don't even realize that, like Boston Scientific alone employs over 8,500 people, if not more, in the country.
I heard a lot of people, Martin, saying lately that, oh, Jesus, if Trump gets in, he's going to pull, MSD and all the pharma Americans, and we're all going to be bollocks.
No, he won't, because
he didn't before.
Exactly, he's not going to. What he's going to do, he's going to strong arm the other big nations. He'll do what he did with China before. He'll say, you do good deals with us, or I'm going to put 100% tax on your steel again, like he did the last time. He's not playing. He's playing at massive economic levels. You know what I mean? Not really. That's it. The only reason that we have an IT sector and a pharma sector is because of our corporate tax rate. That's the reality, right? Companies get massive tax breaks here. That's why they're here. They don't invest. A lot of that money leaves the country. It doesn't come back into the country. But we get employment and massive employment out of it. That's the deal. That's the deal that successive governments have made with these big companies. But as soon as that tax rate is gone, it becomes too expensive to do business in Ireland, because you can pay people less in Eastern Europe. And like, people don't realize there's certain parts of India that are, would say, ramping up from an education point of view and an infrastructure point of view. And Dell is the prime example. Dell was in Limerick, and it was all good until their tax benefits ran out, and then it was gone to Eastern Europe straight away. Cheaper workforce, equally as skilled, and the infrastructure is there now. So the same what happened. That's why it's as a party, we're really pushing our own resources as opposed to not relying on multinationals. But a huge part of Irish Freedom Party is getting back our fisheries, because people don't realize what it's worth.
Yeah.
If we actually take our fisheries back, we can build a massive economy on that. Again, we need about 8 naval destroyers to chase off all the illegal Danish and Spanish fisheries that will be coming into. But it's huge.
But that stretches pretty far, doesn't it, Martin? It stretches almost.
Iceland goes as far as Iceland. Yeah, our international people should Google that and see what our international waters are. They're huge. They're massive. But we're letting Nordic vessels in and Spanish vessels in, and we should.
Should there's even countries have fishing rights here that haven't even got ports?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's ridiculous. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Come on.
Yeah. So, like I said, and then we have our other untapped natural resources that are north and south of the country that we need to go after. And I don't care what other deals successive governments did for other for companies to do exploration rights. We need to take every single bit of that back. And actually, we need, as a country, we need to look at being self-sufficient, because people may want to stick their head in the sand. There are massive problems coming down the line in relation to finances across the world. Like that collapse in 2014, it didn't go away. The can was just kicked down the road, and it's like a pot now, or a steam kettle ready to blow. So, like I said, it'll be the same thing. There's going to be one domino effect. Something is going to happen somewhere, and it'll just be tap all the way along, and our economy is going to go down the toilet. And we're also then going to have the problem of 250,000 illegal immigrants that we're paying to stay here. We're not going to be able to pay them, and I'm really interested to see what happens when these guys are told you're not getting your dole money this week.
They'll start cutting people up. That's what will happen. But Owen O'Sullivan has just wrote there, we can't cross international waters. Naval service hands are tied, lads.
That's our own, I believe.
That's our own, yeah.
Yeah, so just you patrol your own waters. You don't go after them. All you want to do is hunt them out.
Well, this girl here, and I saw Mary Lou wants 3,000 houses. No cases. It's actually 300,000 houses. Elizabeth, just bear with me.
Sorry, what's that in reference to?
This Mary Lou McDonald, just bear with me, and I'll just move us.
Oh, she's planned to commit these houses, is she? Okay.
Yeah, hang on.
To build.
Present.
Yeah, see, this is where they all start taking their cards out of their back pocket just in time for election, you know. Unfortunately, a lot of people fall for this kind of thing.
I'll read it there now. Sinn Féin housing plan commits to build 300. I'm going to show you a video in a minute. 300,000 homes over 5 years. Keep sharing this, people. Go on, we're way up here on this, and we're getting hockeyed over on the Irish channel as well. So people going there, share it out everywhere. But 300,000 homes over 5 years. Right. Sinn Féin will publish its comprehensive housing plan tomorrow, with the party committing to the building of 300,000 homes over 5 years. That's not going to happen. The party's plan, entitled The Home of Your Own, proposes giving local authorities more powers to help deliver 125,000 social and affordable homes. Okay, but what good is 125,000 social and affordable homes if you're bringing in 150,000 migrants? What's that going to solve? It's going to solve, they'll all get houses, but the Irish people will be still left on the street the way they are now, you know? While proposals for low-cost finance for those building private housing developments will also feature in the plan, the Land Development Agency will be replaced by a new body, the Active Land Management Agency, which will focus on acquiring unused zoned lands. This new agency will likely have greater powers to quickly compulsory purchase land. Woohoo! Is this the 39th Amendment coming in again? To enable this to happen, the current laws around compulsory purchase orders are set to be amended. This weekend, the government signalled that it would invest another 100 million in the First Home scheme. However, Sinn Féin has consistently said it would end that scheme, and that view is expected to be reiterated in the 109-page plan published tomorrow. So I'll stop sharing that, okay? And I'm just going to play a video and see do you notice that in this video, right? This is the Sinn Féin housing plan, okay? Did you notice that? Or did you not notice? There wasn't one Pakistani, there wasn't one Muslim, they were all white. I'll play it again, right? Watch it. No, and it's and this is what they're pushing out, you know what I mean? Like, she has... Do you see what I mean? You know?
Do you know what's even funnier? They had to CGI it because they couldn't find an empty house in the country to actually film it.
Exactly. Yeah, that's it. Exactly. You know.
Look, I think everybody knows what the story with Sinn Féin is like. They're not a political party. They're a fart in the wind. They're basically whichever way the wind is blowing, that's the way Sinn Féin are going. And if you want to waste your vote on them, then
there you go. There you go. I was told I shouldn't really be slagging Sinn Féin, but hey, listen, man, when you do so many things,
you know what? Can I say something? No, nobody's slagging them. That's not slagging them. That's calling a spade a spade. We're saying exactly who and what they are and what they offer. And what they offer. Exactly. My coined phrase that I'm gonna patent: Islamic rainbow communism. That is what Sinn Féin offer. That is their political offer: Islamic rainbow communism.
And they have the kids brainwashed, man. Like, I know. Listen, I know a woman years, and she's with this Orga Sinn Féin, and she's gone really. They say I'm far right, but these people are just mental. Like they have these kids pumping out shit that's not true. You know what I mean? But these kids are doing it for them. You know, stand up for your trans rights. And I'm looking at this other thing yesterday. Gays for Palestine. Them people not bleeding know what'll happen to them if they go to Palestine. Like, it just beggars belief, you know what I mean? How stupid these people are, like. And then you look at all these marches. There's a march for whatever, and there's trans flags everywhere. What's it got to do with them? You know what I mean? What has any of these protests got to do with them? Palestinians, gay pride. Why? You know what I mean? To stay away from different marches. And there was a big march yesterday as well in Dublin. I don't know whether you've seen it or not. But I'm not going to show it there because RTE have already showed it already. So we show what RTE don't show. Speaking of RTE, I'm going to just go with this from yesterday. There was a Wake Up Era went out there yesterday and protested out there.
So there's a bit of a standoff.
Okay. Instead of villains, they were never heroes. But they can be.
Thank you. Let's go peacefully. peacefully and respectfully.
Gardaí or PSNI.
RTE, shame on you. We want the real news. I can't profiteers. Illegal unvetted immigrants.
Don't be handing out PPS numbers. RTE are the virus. RTE are the virus. There's Barry the Rat. Barry the Rat.
Barry is.
Yeah, that's the order shown there. Thanks to the order shown there for that one.
Yeah, no, it's good bloke. Yeah,
he is. Yeah, but they were out there, and then I'm just gonna go with Adele Gillick talking. Adele's a friend of mine, so I like Adele, and she done a little bit of a speech out there yesterday, and she seemed to have a little cough as well. So bless her.
We, as the people of Ireland, are here today in front of our national broadcaster to demand that they step down immediately from their positions. They are paid by the taxpayer to report real news, not fake news. RTE is the virus. So we are here now to demand that the following journalists in RTE step down. So any journalist that's involved in reporting crime, step down. Any reporter so-called involved in reporting medical reports, step down. Any reporter that's involved in childhood, child issues, health issues, step down now. And finally to the Garda Síochána for covering it up, step down. Thank you so much, everybody. They need to step down, and they need to step down. RTE is the virus, and these truth tellers are the cure. So remember that. RTE is the virus, and the truth is out there. That's the cure. God bless you all. Well done.
Well done, Adele. Fair play. But RTE, it's just propaganda. You know, and how people can't see this is beyond me. Like, they're getting bailed out to the tune of 3.25 billion in the next 3 years. So how are they not a state-run propaganda machine? You know, people have them copped on now. Nobody's paying their TV license anymore. And this is why they have to be bailed out, because people are wide to them. People don't watch RTE anymore, you know?
Yeah. I look, you know, I was slagging Glenn when he was doing Rebel News interviewing Kulak. You know, he goes, so where do people go to get their news if the state news is, you know, done? And I wish you would have said the Irish column. He didn't. I had to say it to him. I said, me and Paul were fucking waiting to say it.
We always try and get it in, no matter what I'm doing.
Yeah.
No one is talking.
But
now,
yeah, look,
JNK 140 is at it again.
Oh yeah,
I'll leave him up to you there. Let's see what he says there. You guys are as bad. You still want to give houses to foreigners, which means there will be Irish people without houses. You said that Irish people would get house first. Nonsensical statement. Like, what's he talking about there? I don't know what he's talking about. We always say Irish people are housed first. That's it, before anyone is housed. That's always been the way.
I think he's trying to say that if we're housing them first, it means that we're still going to house them after the fact.
Okay, I didn't get.
I think,
but like it goes back to the thing where the Irish Freedom Party is not an ethno-nationalist party. There's other parties there for that. If you want that kind of thing, they're over there. They're over there on the far right. We're not a nationalist, an ethno-nationalist party. The party never has been and never will be. We just want controlled immigration, which is just sensible immigration. It's a case of if you, we were talking about before the points-based system or a system like Australia. If you need 12 doctors or 20 doctors and you can't get your own doctors qualified quickly enough, then you can bring in 20 doctors from outside the country, give them a visa for 3 to 5 years. They work, we get a benefit. They pay their taxes. They get to, live in Ireland for years, and then your visa's up. Bye bye. You know what I mean? Or you can apply in that time. You can apply for naturalization, but like I said, that should be a much longer process than what we currently have. But yeah, visas should be given on the basis that we need X, Y, or Z in the country. And I'm not talking about cheap labor. None of this crap bringing in fruit pickers for 3 months of the year and paying them dirt.
Yeah.
No, all that has to stop. But if you need highly skilled qualifications, and it's just we have a shortage because for some reason, we'll say a leaving cert year, the 50 people that normally go into medicine didn't go into medicine; they went into something else, and we have a shortfall of graduates coming out. Then as a nation, you have to bring people in, but in like tiny numbers, and it's only the big caveat about this is only if it benefits the country and the country as a whole. So if you have a shortage of doctors, then bring in doctors from elsewhere. But like I said, you put term limits on it. None of this crap about. And again, if you're not a citizen here, you shouldn't be allowed to own property. So you know what I mean. Not a case of somebody coming in, buying a house, and then just deciding to say, look, we don't have an immigration system at the minute. We have the essential of the Wild West at the minute. You know what I mean. And Irish Freedom Party want to basically close all the gates, close all the loopholes, and put a system in place that will allow limited movement of people, but only to the benefit of the country as a whole. And that's the whole point.
Yeah. We spoke about that in the Ardèche as well. That's what Herman said too. Yeah, we pick who comes in.
It's the immigration, and it's immigration. It's immigration, but it's also the emigration as well. And we spoke about this in the Ardèche of incentivizing qualified nurses or medical staff to stay here, and hopefully we'll be able to make that a more attractive option.
Cheaper houses. That's what you need. Cheaper houses.
Keep our skills as well. Yeah, like.
I know, but when you look at the price of a house now, with all this climate alarmism crap that's going on, it has to be this grade, that grade, this grade, that grade, and that's putting an extra 40 to 70 grand on each house. Mm-hmm. Realistically, it is, and it's not needed. Like as you said last week, Martin, like houses are supposed to be built now for what, 200 years? Is it the last 200 years or something?
Yeah. Who's going to find out?
Exactly. Now you have it. Who cares?
This is true as well. See, this we have the embargo now at the HSE.
Yeah, the HSE freeze. Yeah,
it's crazy. Ridiculous. Like that. These things are going on.
But again, that's done through a loophole because that's done through recruitment agencies, right? So the HSE can actually say, well, we're not actually breaking the rules because we're not hiring anybody. We're just bringing people in. But the recruitment agencies are filled with non-nationals, and those qualifications aren't checked. And I know for a fact that there have been doctors and nurses in hospitals in Ireland who had falsified papers, and they were caught out. Those stories
very common, a lot more common than people think.
Yeah, so that's the thing. So, but again, that's a loophole that Irish Freedom Party can look at and actually bring in a policy saying that no, you can't do that. Just if there's a recruitment embargo, then you may not use recruitment agency staff. That is in itself. And the funny thing is, they're paying a much higher hourly rate to the agency staff than they would pay for. It's not even cost effective. Like it's not cost effective. You're paying probably 5 to 10 euros more per hour for an agency nurse than you would pay for an Irish nurse, who are woefully underpaid anyway. But it's nonsensical. But because of the bureaucracy, the hospitals have turned around. We didn't hire any staff, yet they spent X amount of million on taking in recruitment staff that may or may not be qualified to do the job.
Yeah, and you're right in saying woefully underpaid. Like these people go through 4 or 5 years of nurse schooling to walk into to a really low wage. It's something like 31 or something they start on, or something anyway, very low compared to what schooling you have to do for their skill set. It's ridiculous. Like
while we're on nurses, and I know she's watching, I'm going to say hello to Mammy, who's a retired nurse. she watches every Sunday.
Does she? Very good.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah.
I'm going to say hello to my dad as well. Taxi driver. See you. How's things?
And you're going to have
my outfit should be watching as well. My dad's watching as well.
I better say hello to my father as well. Hello, Daddy.
I will be here all day.
Just looking there, someone's at the post there. Bring back the regional health boards. Yeah, the regional health boards are brilliant. Remember the Eastern Health Board and the Western Health Board, and I'm just looking at this here. Bike shed in Leinster House cost 345 grand to build. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Do you know what? Can somebody tell me what the sensitive location was? I haven't been able to.
It never said a word about what it was. Just a sensitive location. 335 grand for a bike shed. Wow.
Yeah.
You know, and we can't pay our nurses, and we can't fucking, you know, we're hitting a recession, and you know, it's just bizarre, the stuff. You saw it there when they brought over their Ukrainian pets for nearly $1 million fucking euro, you know.
Right, Paul, you're right. Down trolls all over the country.
But in saying all these nursing things here, we do have policies that we're fleshing out to help all this, you know, and this is what will come to the forefront. You know, we have sat down, and not just nurses, but school teachers and whoever else we're hemorrhaging, because there's a few sectors like that, trades as well. You know, we are looking at all that in a very serious and thought out manner. So I think people should know that that we have a lot of heads together, trashing these things out and fleshing them out. And I think we're going to have some great policies that people really be happy to get behind.
Just going to read this here. Ukrainians have the highest rates of AIDS in Europe, and Africans have the highest in the world. Remove all of them people, our health service will get back to some sort of normality. Too much focus on what migrants bring to the country and not what they are taking from it. That's Amanda. I didn't
know that about Ukraine.
The highest rates of AIDS. I didn't know that either. No, I didn't know that. I knew the Africans were very. They were riddled. I knew that. So that's where it comes from, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's, and the same way with this monkeypox thing that they're all talking about now. Monkeypox. The Congo is riddled with it, apparently, and yet still they're letting people in here from the Congo. Where's the bleeding common sense in that? You know what I mean? You know, we have, what's this? We also import immigrants because they work for peanuts. Don't be under any illusions. This government is exploiting these people. Okay. Probably are, yeah.
I'll tell you what, it's a good point, but they're not just exploiting those people, they're exploiting their own people as well. Because if you have a free market like that and you're importing cheap labor, and companies are happy to import cheap labor, it means that the Irishman is forced to work for less to compete for employment. So that's very, very important. The government bringing in cheap labor is not about the cheap labor as such. It's about making the Irish labor cheaper and pushing us down. And this is the whole plan that a lot of people can't see, is that the whole movement across Western civilization, you call it communism, whatever you want, whatever term you want to put on it, but it's simply about making everybody equally poor. That is the end game. Equally poor and totally reliant on the state. That is the end game.
You'll have nothing and be happy.
That's the one. You'll own nothing and be happy. Hello, Orla. How are you?
Hi, guys. How are you?
Oh, good. Hey, Orla.
Yeah. Good.
Actually, just when you were talking there about the agency staff, my husband is he does social care, and the agency staff come in all the time, and they're all foreign, all of them.
Yeah.
And like, there's plenty of Irish out there looking for work, but it's not them being brought in.
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
There's my old lad. Look, Ted Roy Martin.
Hi, Leo. How are you?
Leo. Well, somebody asked how the barbecue went. It went very well. Now I have to say, I had good cracking anyway. Harry had great crack as well. And we went back
he did.
Yeah, it was great. Now it was great meeting everyone, you know, and those people there I hadn't met before, you know what I mean? So, and Michael was in great form, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was. He was there, like, doing the burgers and everything. Yeah, it was great. Yeah, it was very good. You know, and Paul behaved himself, kind of.
No way. I don't believe
it. Yeah, well, I did. Yeah. Don't they always look? You know what I mean?
I don't believe it.
Yeah, I know. Was it? Listen. I don't have many cans. I think I brought 12 cans with me, so I was gargled. I was well gargled, like, you know what I mean? And the young one says to me this morning. The young one says to me this morning, "You were arguing with Mum over the dishwasher." I said, "What do you mean? What she hadn't packed the dishwasher properly." I thought, "Oh, for fuck's sake, no! Give it out over the bleeding dishwasher." Oh, stop.
Yeah.
But what was I going to say? Now I have more videos there. I want to go.
Orla, have you the pictures? Have you the pictures from my blackmail folder?
Sure.
Oh, yes, I do. Yes, yes.
Nah, there's none. There's none. Definitely
So
none.
you're okay, Martin. I like you, so you're safe enough.
Do you know what I'm going to go with?
How's things over at the Lord of the Rings?
That's
all good.
All good.
Did you hear what he said? He said he put into chat or to the AI how Ireland feels right now.
Yeah.
And that's what it spat out. That's crazy, isn't it? Like, you know. That's bizarre.
That is like, as I said last week, it's like the Hobbit, the Lord of the Rings. That's what it's like.
Yeah,
it's like Gollum, holding on to the... I'm not going to say anything.
That's Turles there.
Yeah, Roscommon or Leitrim, is it? It's Leitrim.
Oh, Leitrim.
But I'm just going to have a little video there. It's only 20 seconds long, right? But the Dundalk Says No crew have a thing. I think it's on. Is it Tuesday or Wednesday? Just bear with me there for a sec. And I'll see can I find it. Dundalk Says No. Yeah, just let me bring that up. And yeah, there we are. Dundalk Says No. Peaceful Assembly, Wednesday the 4th of September, 6:30 p.m. St. Joseph's Orphanage. Everyone welcome. Think of Ireland 5 years from now. Stop this madness. Okay, now that's them. That's for, that's.
Can you imagine 5 years? You take a minute for that, really, Paul. What, like, 5 years is scary, like distance away. Consider what's happened this year alone.
Yeah, consider what's happened in the last 4 years since 2020.
But like this year alone is it's Thornton Hall. It's maybe Clonmel stretches back to last year, but it's like there's a lot of massive sites this year. Carlow's a different town this year alone.
Yeah, but People Before Profit held a thing up in Dundalk on Friday night for all of the people to come and talk about refugees welcome and the whole lot. Yeah, wait to see this.
Extremist open border party People Before Profit held a meeting in Dundalk last night against what they call racism. 10 people turned up, 8 of them were from outside Dundalk. This just proves the point that they're bussing people in to protest against locals concerned about mass immigration.
That was Finbar Markey there was with that now. And I've heard Finbar talking, he's a good guy. He's running as an independent up there. But yeah, they're bussing. But we know they're bussing people in. That's the thing. We know what they're doing, and we try to tell people this, and people don't believe you. So we had a video last year, a guy telling us to get 50 quid each, like, you know what I mean, for protesting. And the reason they protest us is because they don't want to come into their area. His words, not mine. You know?
Yeah,
it's crazy. But 10 people turned up. 10 fucking people. Yeah. Come on.
And not even from Dundalk.
No. Now don't get me wrong. I've gone to Dundalk. I've spoken up in Dundalk. I've spoken Carlingford. You only go there to help people. You only go there to talk to people and let them know that there is help there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Likes of these. Like this big thing on the 19th as well. I must pull that up as well. There's the protest in town on the 19th and the 19th of September. But they're trying to counter protest that now as well. They're going to give people days off work and shit like that, you know, all the unions, and this is how they do it, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
These people
and
think
you see the €50 an hour thing there. We heard about that. Was that Roger O'Gorman or something like that? That was supposedly.
So, listen, we heard this, right, that they were getting the 50 quid, and we were asking a few people. We couldn't really, you know, find out much because, of course, the lefties tell you nothing. But we were doing a video over in Balls Bridge one day with Gavin last May, when we were doing we went to about 8 or 9 different places around Balls Bridge, Dublin 4, Dublin 6. We went out to Black Rock, out to Dalkey. Dalkey, as Gavin says, Dalkey is the most racist town in this country. There's not one black person in it. If there is, they're serving you food. But and even at that, you know, they're few and far between. But we met a fella. We were actually doing a video, and this guy came up behind me when I was videoing it, and he says, "Are you Gavin Pepper?" And Gavin said, "Yeah, I am. Yeah." Well, he said, "Yeah, I watch your videos. They're quite good. I like them, you know." And so he stood talking to us for a minute, and Gavin asked him 2 or 3 questions, and he answered the questions for us. Told us that they get the 50 quid, and that there's lecturers going on in all of these colleges all over the south side, you know, for the far left, and your man Barrett and everything, doing them in DCU and not DCU. What's the big one out there?
Trinity.
No, the big one out beside RTE, whatever, Belfield, whatever. Yeah,
UCD,
whatever it is. That one. UCD, that's the one, yeah. But yeah, like they're indoctrinating the kids. It's big time what they're doing, like, you know what I mean? And they're getting the younger ones. Now you don't, like, unless I was only watching the thing last week and this guy was out in I think it was Australia or somewhere, and something happened, and your man says to me, he says, well, have a look at it there. And he says, oh no, he says, no, that wasn't in chapter whatever. He says, no, that we haven't got a signed off paper for that. Your man says, but this is science. He says, science evolves. Oh no, unless I have it signed off, I'm not you know what I mean? Like, science does evolve. Science is evolving day by day. You know what I mean? It never just stays as it is. They're always finding out better things about things and how to do things, you know. But yeah, that's
interesting. You know, and Martin alluded. It's what you're talking about there, Paul. And Martin talked about this earlier on. A lot of highly educated people down this line. There was a study during COVID that the most compliant people were highly educated people. The higher they were, the longer they spent in the education system, the more compliant they were. And they were trying to see then what it was, and it's indoctrination. It's also trust. Like, you know, when you're in such a big organization, and you develop a trust of big organizations, and you know the government would never do that, and you know the education system, it's all the one. So I think there was a lot of you know, we're with science on this, you know, and whoever isn't, you know, it was that kind of thing. But it was an interesting correlation.
I'll be honest with you, people that I knew and I thought were very learned people, I thought they were really brainy and everything else, turned out to be the most stupidest fuckers I've ever met in my life. During COVID,
they're used to being told what to do. That's what it's saying. It was in that movie. I was saying that to Anthony, where they were talking to a psychologist, and they asked him. They said, "Why is it the ones that are, you know, classed as very intelligent are the ones that are taking all the shots and this, that, and the other?" And he said, because they have spent so much time in the system. Like, they're just brainwashed. They're just so used to being told what to do.
While we're talking about this, I'm going to go with Tucker Carlson. This is exactly what we're talking about. Here, have a listen to this.
For those of us who've noticed that people who've taken the mRNA vax and boosters seem different psychologically.
Yeah,
we're not imagining that.
Yeah, no. It's that's what's really happening. You see, people who have not a high production of these cells in the hippocampus, they act normally during the day. On a normal situation, they do whatever humans do, and you don't realize it. I saw that actually even in the part of my of people I know, that when I saw them at parties, we could talk about everything which is trivial. But as soon as you start to talk about something more difficult, that was before 2020, you realize they don't want to you put their brain in a working mode. They just avoided these topics, and these very people who are not interested in really thinking were the ones who actually took the shots very quickly. Because you have to see the mental immune system, as I already counted off, you know, the curiosity is lacking, you know, so and the other side of the coin of curiosity is psychological resilience, because being curious, meaning you enter a new space, new thoughts, and everything that's new is per se potentially dangerous.
Yes.
So you have to have a high psychological resilience to enter this new space. So if both is down, curiosity and psychological resilience, then you accept everything. And particularly if something comes with a lot of fear, you know, oh, you could die, your family could die, everything is very, very dangerous, then you fall back to I would say cortical reflexes, like something that is inborn in us, behavior that's inborn. And one behavior that's inborn, of course, in humans is and that's natural, is if there's a danger, you go into the group. You don't try to be isolated. You follow the group. And if people tell you the group is going to take this vaccine, then everybody runs and I want to have it too. You know, you don't think, you just follow the crowd.
Exactly. There you go. I think he put it in a nutshell there, didn't he?
Yeah.
It's like that blank expression when you're talking to them about things. And it's like, I don't know whether it's just they can't comprehend or what it is, but you just get this blank expression when you try to talk to them about stuff.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, and they won't talk about stuff. That's the thing. They'll slag you off and tell you you're mental. But once you start hitting them with facts, you're talking bollocks, and they walk away from it, or they start shouting at you or causing a row. Like, at least if I'm going to argue with somebody, I know I have my facts right, and I know what I'm arguing over. You know, they just argue for the sake of arguing. You know, just to try and shut you down. They try and shout over you to make you look bad, and they're only making themselves look bad. You know what I mean? Really.
Yeah, but you have to remember those shots went across the blood-brain barrier, and we don't know the extent of the damage that they may have caused.
Fuck off, Dara.
And they all die at the end.
And they all die at the end.
We told Dara last night that we were never going to the movies with him because he's going to tell us that everyone's going to die at the end.
You know, good crack, I have to say. I said it to him. I said, "We're not going to pictures." Why? I said, "Because everyone's going to fucking die at the end."
He was very funny.
Was he full of doom and gloom last night? Was he?
No, he was chill.
He was in great form.
Yeah, he was.
Wasn't he, Paul? Yeah, no, he was in very good form. So he was. But a woman actually reached out to me earlier on today, and she was saying about I think it's in Dundalk or Drogheda, and she said in the last couple of weeks, in the space of a week, 2 young people died suddenly. In their 30s, men. 2 of them, one after the other, in a week. And she said there's not a thing about it, like, you know, it's just like young people like that with no health issues do not just be found dead at home. Do you know what I mean? It's crazy. And it's the way that it's now that nobody thinks anything of it anymore. Do you know, like the rest of us are like, oh my God, this is crazy. Like, but again, like that, it's that thing of people just.
But that's how you.
They're not putting 2 and 2 together.
We touched on this earlier in relation to normalizing the rapes, the crime, you know what I mean, all the other bad things that are going on in society. This is just another thing people are normalizing. It's that young and healthy men and women in their 30s are dying or getting terrible cancers, and everybody's kind of how did that happen? How did that happen? Look, there's a lot of people calling for a lot of things in relation to COVID inquiry, and a lot of people talk about, you know, punishing the people involved, and the reality is everybody knows with our current setup politically, nobody will ever be held accountable for what went on in COVID. Now, if you had a change in government, there's a possibility that there are some senior people who broke serious laws that should do jail time for it. But with the current establishment, that's never going to happen, because we all talk about it. It's a big boys club, and none of us are in it, and the Irish people aren't in it either. The people who've been made to suffer the most. I know. Sorry, go on, Nancy. Go on.
No, sorry, I'm just laughing at one of the comments that's there. I'm not putting it up, but it's there. Have a look at it. It's the second one up. Have a look at it
there. Which one? I'm looking for that, kids.
I can't see.
Kendall Clark, I think it is. Kingdale Clark.
Yeah, he's been putting in jokes, I think, for that.
Yeah.
But apart like on
flatulence and so on. Yeah.
The you know, people are still so very trusting of big pharma industries, and look, there's a fine line there too, and there has been. You know, I would have always said there has been great vaccines who've cured certain things, and you know, the longer I think about that, the longer time goes on, the more I question myself about the whole lot of it. But in 2017, you know, this was the most untrusted industry in the world. You know, they have the most lawsuits against them, hands down. You know, and they came to save the day all of a sudden in 2019. And then everyone had kind of forgotten about that. And some software engineer, second richest man in the world, was on TV telling you to take something that he just put $5 billion into 6 months before there was a pandemic, explained. And everyone was kind of like, yeah, I don't know why people are like, I really was kind of, you know, put back really to see what was going on with it. And you know what? I only ever talk about it now as a problem when you can talk about the solution of it, because I do think there is ways. Look, there's a lot of people who woke up after the fact, and there is ways of detoxing. We spoke about this plenty of times. That the Peter McCullough protocol, there is spike protein detoxes, and so it's not all doom and gloom either. You know, and people have, you know, and these are peer reviewed studies, very cheap, over the counter, options, and I've spoken about that before. And if anyone wants to hear about it, I can call out exactly what it is or put it in a link somewhere. I think I have it on my TikTok page, but I can put it up fresh if people look for it or message me. It's only 3. My sister got it herself, and she started a dose of it. 3 supplements you take every day, once a day, for you run the course of it. And
What are they? Tell the people.
Yeah, you're gonna right. I'll tell them. They're gonna break into this garage door now, and you see me resting to the ground.
Me and my door as well. But hey, listen, they don't know where I am. I'm in the gaff for the piano. They don't know where I am.
You're over in LA.
Yeah,
I think everybody knows what happens if anybody ever kicks in my door.
Yeah, you can't say it, but now pardon the pronunciation. Nattokinase, 2,000 units twice a day. Bromelain, 500 milligrams once a day. Curcumin, 500 milligrams twice a day. Nano or liposomal. That is the 3. And if you go onto iHerb, I think you can get all 3 of them on that website. You can, because I've actually have links here. I have that saved and I have the link. So whenever I send it to someone, I just paste
we might put the links up. We might put the links up in the show thing later on or something.
You know what? I think I might be able to put the links up on the chat one by one here now. Now, actually, I don't know if you can actually click things off YouTube or copy and paste it or whatever. So you can stay
on YouTube,
yeah, okay.
But you have to remember when you were talking, Anthony, there about Big Pharma. Like, look at Moderna. Moderna they were on their knees before the shots came out, on their knees. And then all of a sudden, COVID hit and they had the shots and all that. But they were found to have the patents, which is instructions, before the virus came out.
Yes.
So what does that say? Do you know what I mean?
They started production before everyone knew what was going on.
So I think they were. Me personally, I think they were in contact with Mystic Meg. That crystal ball is wonderful. But there's your corruption.
Do you know that there's probably 50% of the audience, if not more, that have no idea what you're talking about or who even remembers who Mystic Meg was?
Yeah, you lost me there.
Come on.
Even Anthony doesn't know who Mystic Meg is.
I don't.
You know who Mystic Meg is.
Apologies.
And a crystal ball.
No Sunday World readers here.
Yeah,
I think there's 2 in there. Do I 2 or 3 in there now?
1, 2.
Do I?
Right, I just got my marching orders, so I'm going to jump off when Paul comes back in.
Yeah, no worries. Look there, that's them there, and one of them won't actually let me paste. Funny enough, don't know what that's about.
But you should be able to find them in any sort of health store anyway. Do you know what I mean? So because they're all fairly.
It's one letter. The link is one letter too long, so I'm going to post this one, and the end of it is DS. Just add in D or .ds at the end of this. Yeah, there's the last one, and you just put in .ds, and you'll get that. Anyway, I can send them to anyone if they want to reach out to me. But one thing I wanted to touch on there, and Shane James is messaging me there, Martin, about planting the seed in people's head here. I know Clan Éireann kind of have a thing going at the moment about a military kind of wing to their politics, and so also the lads down in Tipperary were kind of coming together a little bit, and Shane said he'd come on at some point and let us know about this. But Sinn Féin, kind of an umbrella, strong, supportive group that everyone can get behind. It's not involved in any particular party politics, but everyone can, turn up to a plantation site, regardless of politics, leaving that out of it. And just another kind of strong turnout of solidarity, universal, that everyone can stand behind. So I think he'll be talking a bit more on that, and just that's the seed planted on it anyway. I don't know if Matt wants to add what that is too, but it's going to be
just going to welcome in Gavin. Hello, Gavin. How are you?
Gavin.
Hey, Gavin.
Hello.
Your internet's a bit slow. The what? Yeah, that happens with him a lot.
You want to end on that, Martin, as well?
Yeah, so just quickly on the Shannon and Adina, we the people. So there's look, politics isn't for everybody, right? So there's a lot of people doing an awful lot of work in the background in relation to trying to organize social and civic organizations that are not party affiliated. Okay, and the idea would be that people who don't want to get into politics or don't want to be, we'll say, openly attached to any political party, it's a way to get involved in the fight, as in you come under this banner. Like the hope would be, we will all eventually be under one banner. You know what I mean? And it'll basically be that all the Irish people will come together and realize what's best for this country under a non-political banner, if you know what I mean. And all the parties will come in under that banner. Look, hey, technically we have it, but it's the Irish flag, the tricolour. But its ownership is in dispute at the minute because there are those who actually believe what it means, and then there are those who have betrayed it and sold it out to Europe and to the other highest bidders. But these social and civic groups are a fantastic idea. And like I said, I'm fully supportive of one. I'm actually involved in two or three of them. But look, hopefully that they'll all come together. Like I said, the big thing is politics isn't for everybody, but everybody wants what's best for the country. So it's kind of it's a route to get in. And these political entities, or sorry, these entities will have, you know, kind of a fundraising wing, a political wing, a social and civic wing, you know what I mean. So it's an umbrella for absolutely everything. So wherever your kind of interest is, there'll be something there for you. But like I said, then when it comes to, you know, if something needs to be protested, or if, you know, we need to make a stand to the government, everybody can fall. It doesn't matter what political party you are, what way you lean, left, right, or anything like that. It is just a banner for you to go under to say that, look, we the people are not happy with what you are doing. So there'll be more to come of that. And the guys organise this. Hopefully will come on the show and talk to Anthony and Paul at some point. Now I should open like Gavin talk.
Yeah.
There you go.
How are you there? Sorry, I'm having issues. I was having issues trying to get in all night, Paul. I sent you a message there. Don't know what it is. I think it's my internet. So I haven't been in the show. So sorry, Martin. I'd like to hear what you were saying. Sorry, I wasn't in the show.
Yeah,
so
I know what you mean.
We were talking about a new kind of umbrella, non-political organization that a lot of people can stand behind, that could call. Well, in essence, it could call, like, if something was happening, I guess in Thornton Hall or wherever, you know, the signal will go out, and all Nationalist Party could stand there, and all independents and everyone who stands under the same principles, which we all do. There's a lot of semantics caught up in the politics end of it, but so that removes that to the side. And I think that's a little bit different in Clan Éireann in that regard, that no matter, you know, we're all standing for some fundamental principles here, that the plantation of Ireland is wrong, or whatever it is that's going on, or something happened in a particular place. You know, they want to like have that a fundraising end, a media end, and I'd say Martin probably actually said it better than I did, but Shannon Adina, we the people, and Shane James and a few others are going to maybe talk about it in the coming weeks as well.
I'm just going to throw it out there. Liverpool FC 3-0 today. Beat the Dirty Manx.
Right, you started talking soccer. I'm going to bed, lads. I'm up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I have to go and get some sleep.
No problem, Martin. Thanks very much for your input. Good night and God bless. But yeah, there's a guy had to be on here talking. This JMK, he throws in a few smart ones here, but he asked us earlier. We said something earlier about housing. We were talking about Mary Lou getting 300,000 houses built and blah, blah, blah. And I made a comment that how is that going to affect 120,000 houses a year, and you're bringing in 150,000 migrants? You know, they'll get the houses. And he sort of mistook me and said, I wanted them to get it before Irish people. So he's asking now, hey, Gavin, do you think it's possible to house foreigners as well as the Irish? It's clearly not possible.
Well, the issue is that, like, the Irish government have signed the EU Migration Pact, you know, and they want to bring in a minimum of 30,000 migrants a year to Ireland, and that's minimum. So God knows how many they're going to bring in. But the fact is, our homeless record is now hitting another record, as you've all seen. It's nearly 14,500 people, right? You know, Sinn Féin, they're a populist party. They make promises that we all know that they're not going to be able to keep. So saying you can get a house down to 300,000 is one thing saying it. It's another thing doing it. We are not building enough houses for the amount of people in the population as it is at the moment. So adding to the population, you're not going to have more. House prices are too expensive for people. They really are. They're way overpriced. And in fairness, these help the boy schemes don't do absolutely anything, only drive up the price and make the builders and the property developers and stuff get more money. What we need is, we need more social housing built, right? We need more affordable housing built, and we need people that are on, like, you see, some people are on a higher salary and they need to qualify for subsidies so they can rent houses and affordable rents. But people being like $5,000 to rent an apartment in the city centre is a month is shocking, and it shouldn't be happening. And I think there's only a certain amount of landlords in the country that will accept HAP. So, you know, I'm dealing with a case. Here's an example of a case, Anthony, right? I'm dealing with a girl that can't move out of her apartment because she's on homeless HAP, right? So if she wants to transfer to a different house, she can't, because she ends up going down onto the lower HAP rate, and that's less than the homeless HAP rate. So in the end, she ends up back in homeless accommodation. Like, the system is bananas. It's bonkers. It's ran ridiculous. Like, rents need to be, like, you can't have HAP if a landlord's not going to accept it. It needs to be like, this is the rate, that's what you're getting, and you have to accept it. Like, it can't be where, oh no, we're going to charge $3,000. Like, it's just taxpayers' money is being used, and it needs to be used right. I believe that landlords, they need to be able to obviously make money, but like, not extortionary money. But the state needs to have enough houses to house the people that are on the list, and they don't, and they're not building them. And all the political parties in government make promise after promise after promise, and every year it gets broken. Like, so, you know, it's easy for Sinn Féin to come out with a housing plan, but implementing it is one thing. You know, it's easy to say it, but like, every party means well. I'm not saying they don't mean well and they don't want to fix the problem, but they don't want to fix the problem the government that's in now. At the end of the day, my annoyance with Sinn Féin is that Pearse Doherty went over to England and said that, don't worry about Ireland, we'll stand with the funds, you know, we won't upset you. I think it was Pearse that went over. Exactly, which means the vulture funds are protected. You know, Sinn Féin also said, let's tax the vulture funds at 20%. I don't want to tax the vulture funds. I want them out of the country. Like, they shouldn't be allowed to come in here and buy up an apartment block. End of. I don't care who you are or what you. They shouldn't be allowed to do it. Sorry for getting upset, but they shouldn't be allowed to buy up apartment blocks.
You're right.
You know, and that's
Well, you look at what you reported on it. You reported on it, Gavin, I'd say about 3 or 4 months ago in Belcamp Manor, was it?
Yeah, and the next day, 24 hours later, do you remember? Denise Mitchell ran up and done a video. They don't care about the people in Belcamp Manor. The fact is, Paul, we went over to Start Mortgages to call them out for what they were. You don't see people before profit or Sinn Féin or that doing that. They pretend they're the bogus left, I call them. They're not. They're just. They practically work for the government. You know. They're not really opposed to them. You know, they're going in there to think, you know, some of them have went into houses, put in people into houses, you know, to try squatting them, right? How come they've never tried to do that with Irish homeless people? How come they haven't done that? Because at the end of the day, it's about a narrative. It's about a narrative, you know? They go on about everybody needs to be punching up and not punching down. They're wrong, because it's not about punching down. I don't blame illegal migrants for Ireland's problems. It's the government and the opposition who caused the problem. They're the ones that caused the problem. They're the ones that are doing the problem. And the media, the government, the radio stations, they're all part of it. And like, they can keep saying whatever they want to say at the moment, but at a later date, when things change, they will all be answerable. Like, it's as simple as that, you know. Like,
you know, it's gas. Like, and this is gas. When you hear this, right? I put up a post yesterday about the inheritance tax, And I said, for an example, if you buy a house for 300 grand, you end up paying 550 plus back, almost double on interest rate. And then to pay that 550, you need to earn about 800 because you're taxed on your income. And then you pass on to the child, you have to pay a further 33% due to inheritance tax, which is a double tax because you already paid fully for that asset. Now, most people were in agreement with me, but you'd be surprised that there's a couple of people who said, no, these young people, they shouldn't be getting anything. I said, hold on a second. Yeah, you imagine that people, first of all, don't want to pay more taxes. And second of all, that, that you're like that when you pay and buy for something, that is not a housing crisis, first of all. But like when you pay your whole life, 35 years of a mortgage for something that's not yours to own and pass on. Like imagine someone said that when you bought your car in finance. Oh, finally you've paid my last payment. It's mine. You gave it to your son. Oh, hold on a second. We didn't say you could do that now for nothing. Like, bizarre how some people defended it.
Yeah. Believe it or not, Anthony, it's on my flyer. It's on my flyer about inheritance tax, right? And look at it, and you're dead right, because remember, people are forgetting. People before profit have emotion in the all at the moment, right? And it's still going through, it's still in there about taking away the right to own your home. And that's the reality of it. If I own my house, my kids should get my house, and they shouldn't have to pay on for it. I'm leaving it to them. I'm paying them all for it. It's for them. It's the truth is, we live in a scam country, right? That's what it is. You have property tax as a scam, right? Like at the end of the day, it's just another scam more. The bin charges, another scam, right? It's one thing after another, and it's like the interest rates. Vulture funds being able to jack up interest rates. We take it at what people pay, and in the end, they're left with nothing. In the end, they still try to leave you with nothing. Like you should be, when you die, you should be able to leave your kids your home, and that's the way it is. Like it's mad because the left always try to give me stick. Yeah, I say I want universal healthcare, universal childcare, and universal social housing. How does that make me a bad person? And this is the truth of it. But in order to have these things, you need capitalism to pay for it. That's the reality of it. You know what I mean? Like that pays for the social services. But our government just don't, the opposition don't listen to that. They want communism. And I told my kids they'll never grow up in a communist country. There's no way.
Communism. Speaking of communism, you're gonna love this. I'm gonna play a video. It's only a minute long, but you'll love this. This is just for you.
You would have seen it all around the canals where fencing has been up all summer. A lot of constituents have asked me, when is it going to be taken down? That's exactly the question that I asked Waterways Ireland recently. The fact is, tents are not making people feel unsafe in the city. These fences are. They trap you in. You can't seem to get out. There is no opening except for a couple 20 odd meters apart. And you're right off onto the water then. The fences have to go. They were put up with no notice. They were then said to be taken down at some period, but that never happened. It's now weeks and weeks. The issue, if you have people who have no homes and are on the street, part of international protection, they need to be housed. The canal and curtaining it off actually just takes away a public amenity from everyone. Waterways Ireland need to stop wasting money. Hundreds of thousands go on these fencing over summer, and that has to stop now.
Over the next coming number of weeks, in September, Waterways Ireland have committed to removing these fences in stage process. This is due to us reps, a number of reps from different parties asking Waterways Ireland and pressuring them to make sure that they remove these fences, and we're delighted to see that they have committed to that.
Leave that to you, Gav.
Right. Well, first of all, I knew that was going to happen with them. A boardie told me they're planning to take down the fencing anyway, and that the government apparently, now whether it's the truth or not, it's alleged that the government have put out a tender to a security firm to have 24-hour security on that canal. Now, whether it's true or not, I don't know, but I'm just saying, I had a feeling they were going to take them down. She blames it like it's Waterways Ireland's fault altogether. The government and Waterways Ireland are all one big thing. 30 grand a week wasted on fencing. But what did she say? What did she say in that particular comment? Only international protection people. I've been on that canal. There's Irish homeless people that are on that canal as well. Yeah. She did not once mention them. So that's the reality of it. She doesn't care about the Irish homeless people. This is the point that people need to see. I'm in Finglas. There's people living in the park. They don't care about them. If there's a fella living outside the Tesco, they don't care about them. People on Parnell Street. Anthony, you know what I'm talking about. Orla, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Like, imagine how they are fighting to house these illegal immigrants, but don't want to house our own Irish homeless in tents. Like, like, what would it cost to open up? Let's say we do have, and I've always said it's true, we do have people that are on the streets that have addiction issues and different problems. Yeah. So, and all they want is somewhere to lie their head down at night for starters. So why can't we open a big proper facility that has a load of beds, a load of security in the place so people don't have to worry about stuff, proper heating, and they can go there at night time in the city. Why should they have to ring these numbers for the bed? Why should someone have to ring a phone number at night time that they can't get an answer for?
You know, Gavin, like if they can pay 800 grand to move over their cats and dogs, or they can pay 250 grand for a bicycle shed, they can certainly put in a bit of fucking accommodation. Like,
exactly. Like, it's not much to ask. And as I said, like, homeless people that can't charge their phones. I mean, where are you going to charge them in the street? Are expected to ring these phone numbers. And I'm going to be honest with you, I've been ringing them myself to help homeless people. And you can't get through. I tried to ring that Simon outreach at night time at the 10:15. The amount of times I tried to ring you don't get an answer on it. Now, don't get me wrong, they're under pressure and they're underdated because I'm not blaming them. I'm saying that if the government had a proper facility where people can say, okay, if you're in this building is here, come here. If you've nowhere to stay tonight, there's security there. You know, so you're creating jobs. You're making sure there's a roof over people's head. But no, what does the Irish government do? They wait till the winter kicks in, and then they say, okay, we'll have a bit of accommodation. Like, they do everything backwards. They're a backwards republic. That's what we are, a backwards republic, ran by clowns. And the opposition are clowns that really back them up and agree with them on everything. So remember, Hazel walking down that canal is all pre-planned. It's not something that it's nothing to do with her. We've been highlighting the issues on the canal for a year. Do you know what I mean? It's just, you have to laugh at these politicians. They don't care about
even the
fact. There's one girl now just said, close the borders, then the canal will be safe again.
The facilitating thing it is, like, even like, see Ukrainians coming here and, you know, they get their college fees paid for and all. You know, and not only that, they get medical cards. Like, when people retire, senior citizens they don't even get medical cards. Why isn't that a default that people who've worked all their lives and they're pushing the retirement age out to 67, 68? People barely live long enough now. Give them their medical card for a few years instead of bringing the rest of the world in and handing them out to them. It's ridiculous, like the backwards thinking.
Well, Anthony, we live in a country where there's had to be 3 serious sex attacks in the last couple of weeks, right? 2 in town, and the local councillor in town is more concerned, like, about scramblers on the street. Like, he didn't mention the sex attacks. Now, how do you fix? We've antisocial behaviour in Finglas as well with scramblers and stuff. How do you fix it? You build a scrambling track. Do you know what I mean? You do something. You don't just ignore it hoping it'll go away. You know, but the problem is they don't want solutions. They just want to say things. They don't want to actually call for proper solutions. But how councillors and TDs in the city centre don't want to talk about sex attacks that are happening on young girls in the city centre is shocking. I mean, don't forget what happened in Dublin 8. So far, them 2 men are still on the loose.
Yeah.
You know, like nothing said in the papers or on the news. Like, that should be on the news every night, telling people to be vigilant. But as you know, what do people hear? No description. It's just we live it. It's sad times, and it's a bunch of woke politicians that are afraid to speak out. That's just the truth of it.
Here's a fact of something that will show you exactly where their mind is now. Right, it just switched over that we're now spending more on equality and integration than we are in children, disability, and youth. It just shows you what they're thinking of. It's scandalous, isn't it? Like, you know, just a virtue signal. Well, we know there's deeper reasons for it all behind us. You know, they're obviously favouring them, and we're being replaced, to say it with an easy way of saying it. But
well, as you said about sorry, as you said about disability, Anthony, was very, very interesting there. Like, you think that they'd abolish the means test system for people that are looking after people with disability. Like, how they haven't done that beyond me. Like, how that hasn't been abolished by now is beyond me. Like, fair play to a lot of rural independents and all that, and TDs have been pushing for this over the year. Now, Heather Humphreys did say she was looking into it. So, you know, like last year, she increased the threshold, but it's still not enough. You just, like, no carer at home should be like means tested at all. I don't believe every stay at home mother or father, whichever one stays at home, should get a weekly non-means tested payment anyway. I don't think like anyone that we should be encouraging people to have kids, but a carer should not be means tested. Like I don't know how this system is going on years. As you said, they can spend that amount of money to bring Ukrainian dogs over. They can spend that amount of money to put up fencing on the canal, the fencing on the, you know, the money's there. They just don't want to spend it on the people. And if that doesn't show what you think of the Irish people, then I don't know what does.
Yeah.
Well, when I was out canvassing, Gavin, I met this lady and I'm still friends with her. And she has a daughter who's 23 that has autism and numerous other issues. And she cannot get her a wheelchair. She cannot get her a hospital bed. She cannot get a carer. And she's gone to every councillor and every TD in Carlow and Kilkenny, and she might as well be talking to a brick wall. It's absolutely and utterly disgusting is what it is. That woman is working 24 hours a day, looking after her daughter, and could not even get a carer. You know, nothing. Like I don't believe, I've been up in the house a few times, and in those times, that daughter has had like epileptic fits in front of me. And that has been like seen by others, and nothing was done. Nothing, because nobody cares. They don't care.
Well, I can tell you here now, Orla, I have an autistic son, right? That like my son has autism, right? And I also, as part of my job as a taxi driver, I do work for Bus Ireland, and I take special needs autistic children to and from school every single day, right? The services in this country are atrocious. Now, I'm not saying that they're not trying, but they're not trying hard enough. But like, it's always plaster. It's always like, you know, take the childcare system. What they're doing there, €140 reduction. Make it universal. Just fix the problem. Make all childcare teachers. This is the way a childcare system should work in Ireland. It should be nationalised. So the government should, you know, the teachers in the childcare sector should be paid like every other teacher in the country. The government, like, you know, it ran that way. And then any mother that wants to stay at home with their child should get a weekly non-means tested payment. It's that simple. We live and. Like, the system is sexism as it is. We're actually sticking up for the women, saying this is what you should be getting. But the backwards, like, left politicians, they don't want that. Like, it's you look at it and you say, how is this happening? How are autistic kids and people with special needs still waiting? But the reality of it is, we now live in a country where the government are actively talking about sending children abroad for scoliosis operations. I mean, like, what did we get from being in the European Union, right? From joining the European Union, what have we got from it, right? We bailed out the banks and the bondholders, right? Since then, what we got? People dying on hospital waiting lists. That's the reality of it, right? Yeah. Population increased that we can't manage, right? People can't afford, homes being repossessed, right? We live in a country where we let in these vulture funds come in, take the bad, like the NAMA, take the bad loans, right? Raise the interest rates on people that already couldn't pay their mortgages so they could sell the house off, and those people end up in emergency accommodation. In the end, the government has to house these people back into council housing. This makes no economic sense. Yet the likes of Dave McWilliams all sits down with his eyes closed. Oh, we don't want to talk about that. Oh, we don't want to talk about that. Which shows that these Mickey Mouse economists couldn't care less about the average Irish person struggling, about the average Irish family in need. And at the end of the day, I've always said it, I don't care how other people feel at the moment. Our country is in a bad way, and I only care about my people at the moment. It's time the Irish people get put first in their own country. I'm paying tax all my life, and I'm paying a lot of tax. And across the road in the garage in Inglis, there's two homeless people, an example, outside every night. And I'm saying to myself, hang on a minute, they're outside here every night. And the illegal migrants are up in a hotel getting breakfast, lunch, and dinner up the road, and they're walking. Yeah. Like, there's something What's wrong with that picture? How can nobody? And then when you say it, you're called names. I mean, so I don't care what they call me. It doesn't matter what they call me. I really don't care, because the average Joe Soap and even the middle class people and even people, rich people now, because they've been stopping me on that canal and the Teslas saying, Gavin, keep going. Yeah, dead right. Majority of the people agree with what you're saying, because everybody knows, even the dog on the street knows, that what is happening is a joke. The truth of it is, in Ireland, is here politicians have no say. Here politicians don't have a say. So there is no left or right or whatever. Like I'm just talking about in the Dáil. The 33rd Dáil just does what the European Union says. They're all signed up to it, and they're all just puppets on a string for the European Union. And that's what, and be under no illusion, what happened in Brazil, the reason why RTE and all are delighted, they want to see Twitter took down. RTE would love to see that. They would love to see Facebook took down. It's all part of the agenda. The truth, they want kids to not have their phones till they're 16 in school. Like, who do you think you are? My child, that's like a security thing for my daughter, so she can ring me to collect her. Like, you know, you don't tell my kids she can't have a phone. But don't get me wrong, kids shouldn't be allowed to be in the classroom on the phone. Like you know, realistic. But like, don't be telling me she can't have a phone in the school. Like, my kids need to contact you if it's an emergency. Like, that's a security thing. But the truth is, the government in Ireland run everything backwards, and they want to turn us into a communist kip, because there's no other way of looking at it. And I'm telling you now, you name one country that communism worked in, because there's none. And that's a fact of it. We don't want to hear it in Ireland.
And as a nation, we should always be looking after the most vulnerable, like the elderly, the disabled, and the children. They should be always looked after, and there should be no excuse. Do you know what I mean? But no, they don't care. They don't care.
I was just saying a comment there about the one just underneath there. He's right. Look at JAQ, the local representative, we're only interested in cycle lanes. He's dead right. Here's an example of the cycle lanes, right? The people on Griffith Avenue, they put up all this cycle track and put up these poles on Griffith Avenue, right? And knocked the value off the people, and the people kicked up more and took all the poles down. It like, they're blocking off the city centre. So if you're in an emergency with a young child, there's a 3-hour delay on ambulance services, right? At the moment, if you're in an emergency with a child, you can't. They don't want you to be able to drive through to the new children's hospital. You have to drive around.
Yeah, that's the mad thing. They put the children's hospital in the middle of the city, and then they take the cars out of it to get to it.
Paddy Wackery, Anthony, Paddy Wackery. It should have been out in Blanchardstown.
Oh, you're right.
It's Paddy Wackery. You know what I mean?
Tell you, lads, we're going to finish it up, right? Because we're right out of time here. We've only 2 minutes left. And what I'll do, I'll drop you down. Just wait down there for me for a minute, and I'll be back to you in a minute. I'll just finish up. Orla, thank you very much for coming on, as usual. You've been a breath of fresh air. Good evening. See you later. Gav, thanks very much. I will talk to you in a few minutes. Just hang on down there for me. Thanks for coming on. Fair play to you, mate. Your input's always great, as usual. Anthony, I'll drop you down as well. And just give me 2 minutes. Thank you again, Anthony. Good show. Great show. Your dad's at the coming on there. Great show, guys. Fair play. So, nice one, Anthony. Thanks for that. Talk to you in a minute.
Next Sunday.
And well, people, we're at that time of the show every week again, as we say. It was a great show, packed show, and lots of stuff on it. So, as we say, the truth is like a lion. You don't have to defend it. You just have to let it loose, and it will defend.